All right, welcome to our first episode of the Doing It podcast. I don't know. I don't know what we're calling it.
I still it's still gonna be under the label of Doing It Gaming, but it's probably gonna be something along the lines of like Doing It Records,
Doing It Productions.
or Doing It Productions would probably be the best bet because this is just because I mean like our content, Doing It Gaming, obviously the YouTube page that you might already be on. We this is already sort of what we do. We like talking, we like discussing shit. This is just us taking away the gameplay element out of, at this point, like,
because it's easier to make.
Just efficiency. That's literally what it's going to come down
like,
to.
Like, Let's Plays are already easy enough to make, but, like, this is a lot easier. So
this is, like, whittling it down to, like, its pure form.
Yeah, we're not cutting out gameplay completely. We're still going to do gameplay videos.
This is just stuff that we also want to talk about that we can't find a template for.
Yeah.
You know? This one specifically, the first one that we're trying out is going to be about Star Wars.
And just, like, in its entirety.
Yeah, and just, you know, what we like about it, why we care, why we give a shit.
Yeah.
But just as a disclaimer, because whenever this episode might or might not go up, which might be within a couple days of us recording it, this is the day that Carrie Fisher died. But we just want to make sure that people are off the bat knowing that this is not us like trying to milk it or trying to get in with the views and trying to get in the trying to feed off of that, because that's not the point.
We had planned on doing this since Rogue One came out.
Yeah, around the time Rogue One came out, we were like, "Oh, we should do this as a thing to do."
So like, we're not trying to milk her death, like.
And obviously, the utmost respect for her.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's a legend.
She was an icon for like multiple different things, for like actresses, for feminism, for like alcohol and drug abuse and mental illness like awareness. Like she was amazing.
And I appreciate the fact that, like, I mean, obviously, when somebody passes, you find out all these other like things about their lives and them. But I do like the fact that, though, even though like she passed away, and this is something very, it's powerful,
it's tragic.
A lot tragic.
Yeah.
That some good would be coming from it in terms of like maybe more people getting like awareness about mental illnesses,
like who she was and what she stood for, yeah.
And what else she did besides just being Princess Leia, like all the things she worked on with scripts and like other works that she did besides Star Wars.
Yeah.
Especially later on in life.
Yeah, especially like she just released another memoir.
Oh really? I didn't know that.
It was called The Princess Diarist.
Oh, see, there you go.
And she it's one where she like comes out about having an affair with Harrison Ford on the set of New Hope, like a lot of shit, and like it's important, it's important,
So I think in terms of that, like that's just like another light to see it in. Yeah, is all I'm getting at.
Yeah,
but we just wanted to get that out of the way. We wanted to let get that just clear.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want any sort of disrespect to Carrie Fisher because she's Princess fucking Leia. Yeah. Like, arguably one of the most important female characters ever.
Definitely in, like, cinema history, yeah.
Yeah, in cinema history, yeah. Like, for a movie franchise that's predominantly dominated by men.
Male characters, yeah.
By men. Like, she was such an important and outspoken character, and she played it really well.
She took none of their shit, very much.
I mean, like, this is what I thought, like, this was like, I read this, I didn't think about this, but like people were like, oh yeah, and then they put her in a bikini. I'm like, yeah, and then 15 minutes later she kills the person that put her in a bikini, like by herself, like with no help from anybody. She was just like, all right, here's my chance, and then kills him, and then like runs away, and then you never see her in a bikini again.
Yeah,
like just because like whatever.
But in the topic of talking about the older Star Wars movie, how'd you get into Star Wars? Like, what was your entrance?
My entrance to Star Wars,
or your introduction, rather.
For a lot of kids in our generation, it was Episode 1, because it was like they had like sort of exposure to it when they were kids, like their parents would show them whatever. But when they started getting into it was when they made Phantom Menace, and everyone's like, oh my god, it's Star Wars for kids.
Right.
And that's when a lot of people, I was watching Star Wars out the womb, dog. Like literally, like
came out with a lightsaber.
Star Wars was playing in the delivery room. Like I was born. They were like da 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 da.
They held you out to the fanfare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it was my dad. Like my dad, like just whenever there was like nothing to do, and he was doing something and needed like background noise, like he would put on Star Wars.
Yeah.
It was like that movie for him.
Okay.
Yeah. And then like growing up, like you just do whatever your parents do.
Yeah, totally.
So like I would just like sit there while he was doing whatever the fuck he was doing in the 90s, because you know the internet didn't exist.
Yep.
So I would just sit there and just be like mesmerized by like the characters and the lights and the dialogue. The dialogue was so like different from anything else that was happening at the time.
Right.
Like I was just like, Star Wars. It was, for me when I was a kid, it was Star Wars and Jurassic Park, because I loved dinosaurs when I was a kid. So obviously Jurassic Park was one of my favorites, but Star Wars was the one that sort of like I still watch it at least once a month. I
actually missed the dinosaur phase. Completely went by me.
Really?
Same with the car phase.
Oh, I didn't have a car phase. Entirely. The only car phase I had is I had a rug. I had one of those rugs that had like a street plan on it.
Oh man,
you remember those?
I was so jealous of those.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's fun. And then like a week later, I was like, all right,
it's a rug.
All of these Hot Wheels you got me, fuck that.
I don't give a fuck about that.
I still have them though. I have all those Hot Wheels.
Oh really?
Yeah, they're like in a shoebox.
All right. But yeah, so just like you were saying, Phantom Menace was my introduction, because like when I was a kid, I was living in Peru. This is before I came to the States.
Yeah.
Not Rogue One. Phantom Menace came out, and it was it's a movie. It was like a movie. Hey, look everybody, let's go see a movie. And Star Wars was a movie that was out. Yeah. And I actually had cousins that came by and visited. And a really like funny memory that I have is so one of the things that stuck with me was the holograms. Obviously the movie was cool, but like you see holograms.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, it's trippy shit. And so the only memory that I have, like really clear memory, was I was like, you know how you pretend to do the scenes, you reenact shit as a kid. And so one of the things that they had in Peru, especially when you go to a rural area, they had like these mosquito nets. Yeah. That would go over the beds, because there's a lot of bed bugs, and not bed bugs, but mosquitoes and shit that would come at night.
I was a Boy Scout. I know about mosquito nets.
Right. So like one of the really funky things was we would pretend to be like in a hologram with the
mosquito nets on.
Yes, it looks that way.
That's adorable.
So that's one of those. But Phantom Menace was one of them. Yeah. Years later, when I moved to the States and like we had Hollywood Video, we would always like rent movies. Yeah. But it's like, oh, you like those movies? This is before. I want to say this is before episode. This is obviously before episode 3, sometime in between episode 2, maybe.
So after like 2004.
Yeah.
Like 2003, 2004.
So sometime around that, he rented like the trilogy. Yeah. The original trilogy as we know it. Yeah. And he's just like, these are where the movies came from. Huh. And I was like,
cool.
Weird. There's more to this.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was not linking any of the stories, but it was just like ingraining in me Darth Vader, lightsabers, the Force, more so than the newer trilogy did.
Well, yeah, because they're better.
We don't want to say that.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that was Star Wars, right?
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know, man. Star Wars is just like, I mean, in society, it's sort of solidified itself as like the franchise.
It's definitely known. Like, you can't not know it.
You can't not like it. You know what I mean?
That's arguable. I know some people that don't.
Like who?
I'm not gonna call out names.
Oh, call out names. Fuck them.
No.
I want to fight them.
But like I feel like the thing is, to your own taste, you can like Star Wars in differing degrees. Yeah. And that's fine, obviously. But Star Wars is just one of those like film series that just kind of has a formula. Okay. And the formula generally works because it has all the good elements of like just a good story. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, like, it's a soap opera.
Yeah.
Star Wars, the original trilogy is a soap opera. That's how George Lucas described it. That's why it invented the category of the space opera. Yes. Like, it's essentially what George Lucas in his original plan before he, like,
made it a franchise.
He made it a franchise. Like, before he, like, made those abominations that have nothing to do with anything.
Shots fired.
Like, the first movie literally has no plot relevance to anything that's happening. Anyway, before he did that, like, he is on record saying, like, I wanted to take the family dynamic and see how it would change and what it would be like under these extraterrestrial circumstances.
Okay, yeah.
So that's what the entire movie's about, Luke and his dad. Like,
true, Yeah. That's about a strange relationship between them.
Exactly.
I hadn't thought about that. But
so, like, I don't know. I think, like, because of, like, that sort of dynamic, like, or that sort of choice in storytelling, like, that's why those movies have become so prolific.
Right. He also brought elements from, like, other movies. Yeah. and different things like from samurai movies and like those tropes and certain elements of that.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he made Star Wars because Star Trek was already out at the time.
Probably. I know the original series ran sometime in the 60s. First movie came out.
I don't know if
70s.
it was Star Trek, but it was like another franchise that he wanted to write for, or like he had like issue with or something. I don't know. Right. But he was like, this is like what this is what I want Star Trek to be.
Okay, so this is like his take on on space and sci-fi.
Yeah, exactly.
And shit like that.
Yeah. So like that, I don't know. And it's good movies.
I mean, yeah, I think it's crazy. I mean, obviously there's people that talk. I mean, some people talk for a living about Star Wars. Like they make their entire things out of it.
Absolutely.
Because it's just such a dense franchise, and there's so much to unpack, and there's characters, and it has 30, 40 years worth of whatever the fuck you want to talk about.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Of fan interaction and books and the extended universe and like the TV shows.
Which don't count anymore
because Disney was like, suck my nuts, Lucas.
We don't want to give anybody else more money than we need to.
Yeah.
So fuck them.
I'm
sorry, Disney. I love you.
I don't. Can I tell you a funny story about Disney? Like a really quick anecdote.
Wait, Disney, give me free things.
Disney sponsor us.
Yeah.
No, I don't mind Disney. Disney's doing a lot of good things, but
Quick story.
Huh?
Quick story.
Oh yeah. So I remember I was talking to one of our friends, and we were all sitting, and I was like, Disney has more money than God. Like Disney makes more money than any other company on the planet. Yeah. And I was like, Disney has its dirty little fingers in literally everything, in every market. And I was like, name one that it doesn't. No, name one market that Disney doesn't have its fingers in it. And she was like, pharmaceuticals, and I was like, probably Star Wars gummies. Or like
he's in there.
Or like princess gummies or anything. Like they're in it. They're in everything. It's ridiculous.
I mean, it's just good. It's just good merchandise. It's just good franchises.
Yeah, yeah. Like they're in literally every.
They know how to get their gloved fingers in everything.
Yeah, it's gross, but
you just gotta play your cards right.
Yeah.
And they own TV networks.
They own like ESPN.
Yeah.
What?
Like
ABC. Like
in how many? If you have to think about this, in how many TVs in America is ESPN literally just on? Like it's just on.
Millions.
Millions. Maybe nobody's watching it.
Yeah.
But it's just on.
Millions.
It's crazy.
I can think of at least 10 people that we know personally that do that.
Yeah.
Like.
Not to mention stores.
Yeah.
Barbershops.
And bars.
Yeah.
Like.
Especially bars.
Yeah, like sports bars and yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
Enough about Disney though.
Disney World.
Yeah, so Star Wars. I guess we'll talk about Rogue One. We both kind of.
Yeah, man. It's whatever. That's why we decided to do this.
Right.
Fuck it.
So heavy spoilers. I don't give a shit. Movie's out.
Oh yeah. If you haven't watched Rogue One at this point, click off, I guess, or like mute us and give us the watch time,
or share it. You know.
Or share it.
If you like our smooth, sultry voices. You know. Are you doing an impression of Saul Guerrero there?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people actually had some beef with that.
Whatever.
I thought it's just a character thing.
I mean, like, I believe it's supposed to be like he's like a drug abuser.
Really?
I think so.
I thought it was more of an emphasis of like, this is how far he's gone for his cause. He is literally just a husk of a human being. Wrapped in like.
That makes more sense.
You know, wrapped in like things that barely hold him together.
Yeah. Well, because the thing is, like, he's not. Because it's an oxygen machine.
Yeah.
So, like, if you need an oxygen machine, like, you would just be on it all the time, and he chooses to use it.
But he also has like a plug thing in his lower cavity that he like unplugs when the sandstorm's gonna come take him away. And he's like he takes it out.
Yeah.
And he's like, and he just like stretches out his hands. But
I mean, I don't know. I took it as like he is so far gone because like I don't know.
He's gone through so much shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just feel like he uses whatever he's pumping through his mouth like as like coping or like doing something. I don't know. That's how I took
Relief the pain, maybe.
Yeah. That's how I took it.
That's
because like he literally like every time he'll like take like a huge like
huge huff.
A huge huff, and then he'll like do something crazy.
It's funny because to me, I didn't take it like as a huge callback to Blue Velvet, but it's a David Lynch movie, and in it there's this like the one like villain or antagonist character, whatever you want to call him.
Mm.
He has a thing where he like has like a, I forget what it is that he's inhaling, but he's like a lunatic. He's like a psychopath. He does bad shit, and like his thing, his whatever you want to call it, like the thing that he's recognized for all the time.
Right.
And it's Dennis Hopper actually. Is like he'll like inhale something and then like he just like he starts like reacting all weird and he just does all weird shit. But that's like a thing, like the mask that he takes in whatever with. I don't know what it was. But I thought it was like a soft little thing to that. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't.
Yeah. I don't know.
But more about Rogue One. This is definitely a movie that I felt was a war movie that I haven't seen in a while. I missed Fury. That's a big thing.
I mean, I don't like war movies. Like, I don't.
No?
Like, I've never seen Saving Private Ryan because I don't give a shit.
I've been meaning to, but because that's like, oh, this is the war movie.
This is the war movie. But I saw Fury.
So many guys that I know are like, this is the best movie ever.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
I mean, like, all right, I'll see it.
If you like guns and blowing shit up and war, then yeah.
If you're a man.
If you're an all-American man, you know, like, fuck that.
Whatever.
Like... And I'm not saying
it's a good movie in its own right, you know.
I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I haven't seen it, but like it just doesn't interest me.
Right.
But Fury was an incredible movie. I actually saw that against my will. I saw it with my cousin who's in the Air Force.
Right.
And because he was like, let's go watch a movie. And I was like, all right. And it actually ended up being an amazing film.
Now, was it a good movie because it's a war movie, or was it a good movie because it's a good movie on the merits of it being a movie and the characters and all the other shit?
Well, the characters are all really interesting. They're all very different.
Right.
But there's a scene in that movie that sort of struck, I guess spoilers for Fury. There's a scene in that There's a scene in that movie that really struck me. And the movie's not about the war. It's about how the war affects people.
Exactly, yeah.
That's what the movie's about.
Yeah.
Like, so there's the main characters are Brad Pitt's character, who's like the leader of the battalion, and Logan Lerman, who's like a 19-year-old drafted kid.
Right, yeah.
And he like doesn't want to be in the war. He doesn't want to kill. He doesn't want to do anything. And he gets like assigned to Brad Pitt's tank, and he's just like doesn't want to pull a trigger, and he'll have to like kick him to like do anything. And there's a scene in that movie where like they capture a Nazi, like a straggler,
right?
And Brad Pitt just like hands him a gun. And he's like, do it.
Shit.
Yeah, and he's like, no, I don't want to. Like drops a gun, and then they like struggle, like literally they're like fighting. Like Brad Pitt like has his arms around him, like holding his hands forward, like trying to get him to shoot him, and they're like physically fighting. And like that was a scene that sort of like stuck with me.
It's a powerful scene.
Yeah, that movie, it's more about like what war does to people than about the war itself.
Exactly. Yeah. But so this is Rogue One was a movie
this is a Star Wars podcast.
Yeah. So this was a movie that it did a lot of things, but more specifically, I think it really emphasized the point of this is what happens in the rebellion.
Yeah.
Because throughout the entire franchise, we hear about the rebellion's this, the rebellion's that. You know, the rebels did this, the rebels did that. We only ever get like context of what they did, and we follow one story, the Skywalker story.
Yeah.
Basically going through the backdrop of the Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right.
Like the rebellion is like they're like.
It's like an established thing.
A secondary character as a whole.
Right.
Whereas like Rogue One
we're in it. We're literally in it.
Like you are the rebellion.
Yeah.
Like, and it took like individual characters and like gave them backstories and made you care about them and gave them like drives and why they're in the rebellion. You know what I mean? And it was it sort of borrows from Fury in the sense that like Cassian's character.
Oh yeah.
He's very much like, I've done horrible shit, but I do it for like the greater good.
For the rebellion.
Yeah, for the rebellion.
Yeah. Which I thought was really interesting because like so when the movie opens up, you're like in this shady area of I'm skipping to that scene. Like you're in like the shady area, trading bay, whatever the fuck. And you're introduced to him. It was very like Blade Runner type shit, you know, like, sci-fi, dirty shit,
like,
you know,
like dystopian,
like Hong Kong area,
like
whatever.
Yeah.
And he's trying to find his connect and trying to get him and trying to get information, da 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 da.
Yeah.
And then the guy's like bugging out and da da da, and he just offs the guy.
Yeah, he just fucking kills him
immediately,
like, cold blood. He was like, "You're gonna slow me down," and
kills
kills him.
Takes him out.
I'm just like, whoa.
Like, and everybody in the theater is like, Oh, Star Wars. We're doing this?
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's that kind of movie.
Oh shit. Okay, I guess we're doing this. We're offing people
Yeah.
off convenience now.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh no, he's gonna die. It's like he's dead.
Yeah.
He's dead. He's gonna stay there as I run away.
Yeah.
So you're like, shit. This is what the rebellion is doing.
Yeah.
You know?
Like it took, cause like there's always been like the rebellion they're always severely outclassed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
You always get the underdog story.
Yeah, and like they don't have the luxury of that kind of shit. You know what I mean? Of like, oh my god, but if I do this, this happens. It's like, no, this is your mission. You do it or you die.
Right.
like I don't know.
And then constantly throughout the movie, he gets presented with all these things he has to do for the rebellion. Kill Saw Gerrera, kill Galen Erso.
Galen Erso, yeah.
So he has to do all these other things for the greater good.
Yeah.
Because these are the missions that he's in, and these are the things that he has to do.
Yeah.
So you're like, shit. Like these are like covert ops type missions that he has to undergo and he has to do.
Absolutely.
You're like, man, the rebellion is some shady shit.
Some dirty shit.
Yeah.
They're dirty bitches. I mean,
Right.
like, and that's like one of the things that I sort of not pride this movie, but give this movie a lot of credit for, is it showed that grittiness.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, New Hope starts and you're just like, oh, they got the plans, I guess.
Yeah.
And then like Mon Mothma's like, a lot of Bothans died to get us this information. First of all, no Bothans.
A lot of people.
A lot of people, like
people.
humans. No
Yeah.
Bothans.
Yeah.
0 out of 10. Worst movie.
It's lies. It's all lies.
But it's just like, okay, people died. Like, duh, it's a war. But like
Now
this,
you see it.
this movie did a really good job of like being like, this is war. Like, these people die. And I think like, I mean, obviously we said spoilers. That was really like presented well with how everybody died.
Yeah.
Everyone dies.
In the third act, you get a good view of like,
Yeah.
this is how people are dying. You're watching it.
Yeah. One of the things that I like thought about was like Bodhi's character.
Yeah.
Like, he sacrificed the most out of everyone there. Like, he like defected from the
Imperial.
Empire.
Yeah.
And then he was on this fucking mission. Saw Gerrera almost fucking killed him and
Tortured
made him
him.
go crazy, tortured him. And then no one believed him, and everyone like was like, "Fuck you, we're only doing this because like you might help us." But like no one really acknowledged how good he was. And then he dies by like someone chucking a grenade in the ship.
Yeah.
Like, it was very unceremonious.
And making it, by literally, hairs.
Yeah.
Which is obviously like that's a Star Wars trope. Like they
Yeah.
only ever just make it.
Yeah.
That's fine, whatever.
Yeah. But then like he's just him. Out of all the characters, he got the most unceremonious death. You know what I mean?
A little bit,
Like Chirrut and the other one.
Yeah, I forget his name.
Donnie Yen and the other guy.
Yeah. The gunner, the heavy.
Yeah, the heavy. Like, I'm sorry I forgot his name. He's actually an amazing character. I love him a lot. He was so good. Him and Chirrut were so good. They were the best part of the movie to me.
They were such good like counters to like what the rest of the movie was kind of throwing at you.
Yeah.
Because like they were buddies, like they had like already a strong connection that they didn't have to develop. You just kind of understood that these guys.
Well, they were bonded by something more than friendship. Like,
Right.
they gave their lives to defending Jeddah, and now like all they have is like that because Jeddah's gone. Like, it was intense, and like it was funny. I saw a tweet by Michael Barrety, who does Belated Media on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
He was like, the only two lines that matter from Rogue One were, "I'm one with the Force and the Force is with me," which is amazing. They did a really good job of showing that like the Force is not solely for the Jedi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was more of like the Force is this all powerful, all inclusive force that anyone can tap into, and it's essentially like it's the god of the Star Wars universe.
I thought that was also really interesting too, because like obviously throughout, like when you watch the original trilogy, people say "May the Force be with you." People just say it.
Yeah.
Right. And obviously throughout the entire arc of the franchise and the stories, we get a view of like, oh, this is the Force, and then the prequels give you, oh, the Force is a thing that the Jedis have. Yeah. It's a literal weapon they could use. Yeah. Well, but in this one, it was almost like religious undertones of like, the Force isn't exactly just a thing that the Jedi can tap into. It's almost like a creed or like a saying, like a thing they have?
Well, like the way I've always viewed the Force, I have a frog in my throat. The way I've always used the Force or viewed the Force is that like the Force is obviously like the Holy Spirit, like the God of the Star Wars universe. The Jedi are the priests. They are like more in tune with it and can bend it and use it to their will. And then the masses are the masses. You know what I mean? Like,
and they just kind of accept
the religion. That's why we don't hear any talk of any religion or anything in the Star Wars universe. Like, everyone just knows what the Force is. Yeah. Everyone just knows what the Force is. Like, whether you're a Jedi or not, like, you know what the Force is.
And then you also get Donnie Yen's, like, which I took, like, obviously he's like the blind samurai trope, you know, he's very holy man. Yeah. But I took it more as like the holy man approach, which is very much like the Force will protect me. Yeah. Very much like what you can compare to what religious people obviously also do the same thing, which is like God will protect me and I believe in him, da da da. Yeah. And this is sort of what the Force is like to him and to what people start taking into in the rebellion. Yeah. Because the Empire is very much like, yeah, that's like hokey bullshit. I don't buy it.
Even though like,
and then Vader just starts slamming him across the fucking room.
Yeah. Even though like both leaders of the Empire are both Force users, I think it's like there's a lot of religious undertones in Star Wars as a whole, because like, you know, it's funny because like, you know, there's a saying that religion is the opiate of the masses. You know what I mean? And like that sort of was true in the prequels. Yeah, like it's like, oh, the Jedi, they had such a sense of like safety because of the Jedi and the Jedi Order, and then once that was not a thing anymore, you see this like crazy transistor period. You know what I mean? Like which Rogue One takes place in. And then like you have the Empire where like everyone sort of lives in fear, and because like the Force is sort of, and then like the Force is sort of like not even like not believed in anymore because like. There's Obi-Wan and there's Bail Organa and there's all these people that like know about the Force, and it's like a myth almost at this point. Yeah. So then like when like people like Luke and Princess Leia and all these and Han Solo, when they're introduced to it, they're like, what the fuck ever. And then like
that's like us reading about like pagan rituals.
Yeah, exactly. And then we get to Force Awakens when Daisy Ridley's like, what even is that? What the fuck's the Force? You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, it was interesting the way that like sort of the religious ties and sort of like the political ties that like between like the Empire and like dictatorships, like in real life dictatorships, like the similarities between them in the sense of like allowing you only to practice one religion and you can only do certain things. Yeah. Like there's a lot of like parallels to like real life politics and religious aspects, and it was really well hidden and really like it was really well done.
I dug that shit.
So anyway, to finish the tweet, because I never finished it. The tweet is the only two lines that matter in that movie are "I'm one with the Force and the Force is with me," and "What is she proposing?" Yeah. Like, I don't know if that line was meant to be funny, but it was fucking hilarious.
It was hilarious.
Like, what is she proposing? And I'm just like, huh? You understand? Who did that?
Yeah.
Like, because like,
it's a council scene.
Yeah, like when they're like trying to decide whether or not they should fight.
Yeah, the rest of the planets are like, we should back off because they have a weapon and we stand no chance.
And then everyone's like, what? We gotta do this now. Anyway, it ties back to like old British comedy, you know what I mean, or like British comedy, where like, because Gareth Edwards is British, so I'm pretty sure he did it intentionally. But like anything, either physical or auditory or anything that comes from like off screen in film, is like automatically funny. Yeah, like, there's a scene in Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. Yeah. Where like
I know what you're talking about.
You know, where like he's just like standing there being like reamed or whatever, and then like his buddy's just like inches like a piece of cake like into the frame.
Yeah,
like
off screen.
Yeah, anything coming from off frame like is funny. Yeah. So like I think it was meant to be funny, but I don't know.
I mean, it's perceived as funny.
Yeah, it's perceived as funny, but like in the scene, like there's no reason why that should be comical.
Exactly.
You know? It's really interesting.
It's very serious.
Yeah.
One thing I want to touch on a little bit, because this is not like, I mean, this is kind of like a grievance that I have with the movie, and it's not like anything in particularly serious. So the use of CGI and them bringing back characters that's just something that we're just gonna start having to deal with. They
Yeah.
start doing Fast and the Furious. I don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like. It didn't take me out of the movie in particular because I'm already in it. Like
Yeah.
you know, I'm like they could have literally flashed a dildo in space.
Yeah.
Said it was a planet and would be like, yeah, it's tight.
Yeah, I get it.
I was already in it at that point.
It's Dildopolis.
They
I've been there a couple times.
Yeah, they have a very small culture.
Yeah.
It's all phallic. There's no crosses. It's all penis.
Yeah, it's all penises.
But what I liked or what kind of bugged me out was like seeing. So when you see Grand Moff Tarkin, or before he's Grand Moff Tarkin, he's something else Tarkin.
Yeah.
I forget his name. And you see his hair, you're like, oh shit, like we're gonna see him.
Yeah.
And then he turns around and he's CGI.
Mm-hmm.
And at first you're
well,
like,
well, the guy's dead, so
the guy's been dead. I know. So at first I was like, all right, you know, he's obviously a part of the story.
Yeah.
Because this takes literally like days before we start A New Hope.
Yeah.
So he needs to be a part of the story, or at least he needs to be introduced in the narrative of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And this is how they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, cool, whatever. But then like they use him a little bit more often, and I'm like, okay, he's a part of the story. They're gonna use him, but it's kind of weird when like you actually see footage of like Star Wars, and you see like how the lighting is. Obviously, it's very different 70s to now.
Yeah.
But it's like it's almost weird because he's in like that uncanny valley of like I don't
Absolutely.
even remember there being that much detail in his face.
Yeah.
Back then, for us to see it now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of buggy. And then the same thing when they do that little cameo at the end with Princess Leia.
Yeah.
Which is a little creepy now that I think about it.
Well, like I was kind of hoping it was weird because like I fucking knew they were gonna hand her off to Leia, like they had to.
Yeah.
Like, but I thought they were gonna like cheese it and be like only show the back of her head.
Yeah, that's
or, like,
what I thought.
Maybe like use her daughter or something, like or like her body double, like something like that. And just like had the buns.
Yeah.
But that would have been super cheesy, and people would have been like, ugh! People would have been upset either way.
No, people were gonna be upset regardless. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, it's not Carrie Fisher, it's CGI, and then like, why don't you show her face? And it's like, whatever. Like, the CGI was good. I mean, like, to be honest, I watched it in a shit theater, so like, it was like someone was continuously just like taking the screener's projector on and shaking it. Like,
we should probably see it again.
Yeah, I really want to see it again. But Carrie Fisher, I could tell was CGI, but Grand Moff Tarkin, I couldn't tell.
I could
on this theater, the theater that I was watching in, I couldn't tell.
I mean, I could tell. It didn't take me out of it. It was just one of those things where it's like, all right. I mean, I guess if you need to introduce him, that's fine. For the purposes of the story and the narrative they're trying to tell, I understand why they did it.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where it's like, man, like this movie is so realistic and gritty, and then like we just got these kind of people that look almost like they're in the Polar Express. So it's like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
Suspension of disbelief, whatever.
Yeah.
I also do like the idea that obviously when we start New Hope, it's Grand Moff Tarkin. He's running the shit.
Yeah.
And Vader's just there like his bodyguard, like doing the shit with the Death Star.
Yeah.
But now we get introduced this little storyline of, there was somebody that was actually in charge of this project.
Like Krennic versus
and
Tarkin.
he just got offed.
Yeah.
Obviously amongst other shit.
Yeah.
He's trying to basically, cover his own ass after the whole shit went down.
Yeah.
But now it's like, so it's just one of those things where like when they introduce Krennic, you're like, oh, why didn't I hear about him?
Yeah.
Like, why didn't I hear about him? And then it's like, oh, because literally Moff Tarkin just took him out.
And didn't want him there in the first place.
Yeah.
He tried to assume control.
Entirely.
Yeah.
So that's why we don't hear about him. And I'm like, all right, it's a good cover up.
Yeah. And I sort of got my wish. I don't know. Do you remember talking about this? When I was like, I want this movie to end with all of Rogue One being slaughtered.
So it's funny because I'm a piece of shit and I don't care about spoilers. I went in knowing a couple details, like they all die.
Yeah.
And I knew about the Vader scene, or the one where he just like slaughters the
entire.
Room. Oh my god. That was honestly that one scene alone makes up for the entire prequels.
Yeah.
Like entire prequels. Like I'm almost like, not that like I forgive you guys, but it's one of those things where it's like this scene pays off for everything you guys could have done beforehand.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Like it's just Miguel was talking about it. Miguel, when we were at the diner the other day, he was talking about it. He was like he's like, yeah, I really wanted Darth Vader to like just like go ham and blah 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 and be this crazy like whatever, and like just like you could see the anger in his movement type of thing.
Yeah.
And he was like, but I'm happy they didn't do that, because like what they did was he was very calm. Like he was just standing there, and he was just like slowly walking and just like blocking shit, and throwing dudes and cutting dudes, and he was just very calm and collected. And like that's the Vader. That's Darth Vader. You know what I mean? That's Darth Vader.
I feel like the anger thing would have maybe been like an earlier version of him.
Yeah, like straight off episode 3, maybe.
Right.
But like, no, like it's weird because like we actually see him on Mustafar in Rogue One.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you don't even know. Like I was like shaking. I was like, oh my God, we're Mustafar. Oh my God, we're Mustafar. Yeah. And that was like all that I had. And I was like, I think we're Mustafar. And then we're like, oh, what the hell is that? That's like a weird looking...
A Bacta tank.
Base thing.
It's a Bacta tank.
It's a what?
A Bacta tank. It's essentially the same thing that we see Luke in the ending of...
Oh, no, I was talking
Empire?
about like his lair.
Oh, like his... like the hanger thing?
Like the hanger thing with the spikes and like hanging in the middle of like a lava ridge.
Yeah.
I was talking about that entire thing. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then it's like, are we going to see Vader here? And then it's like, oh, we're going to see Vader here.
It's funny because a lot of people like, a lot of people gave him the writer's shit for like the careful not to choke on your aspirations in general or whatever the fuck. Yeah. And I was like, why are people mad about that?
It's a
if you watch the old trilogy,
he says that kind of shit all the time.
There's so many puns.
Yeah.
There's so many puns.
He says that kind of shit all the time.
He's like, we're just like fucking... Apology accepted, Captain Nita. And he's just like dead on the floor, like fucking like
he doesn't need to do that, but he just does it.
He's like that like sick sense of humor. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's punny, but also like terrifying.
It's dark.
Yeah,
super dark.
And people were giving a lot of shit because like, oh, it's super punny, and I was like, that's not a bad thing. That's old Vader.
I mean, the Star Wars movies in general are already kind of cheesy, just off the bat. So whatever.
And like whatever, it makes up for it because he ties that in with just slaughtering like 15 dudes at the same time.
Oh man, like
fuck me up.
Like when the scene starts, and like so like in the theater, like when you see the scene, it's really cool because it's like it's dark, but in my eyes, I swear to God, I thought I saw like it was almost like a scary movie when you see like darkness creep in.
Yeah. Like
I almost saw like darkness seep into the room, like some sort of weird aura. Yeah. Like, and I actually saw like darkness like invoke the room. Yeah. And then he turns on the lightsaber, and you're like, oh, it's happening.
I mean, like when I saw that corridor, you know what I mean? Like when they're all like scrambling, like, oh my God, we gotta.
Yeah, you already knew.
I was like, oh, they're fucked.
Yeah.
and then like when the door got stuck, I was like. Okay, yeah, they're dead. They're dead, man.
Yeah,
they're just all dead. Bye.
And then you see it.
Like then it's like they turn around and it's dark, and I was like, oh, he's gonna turn a lightsaber on.
you already know going in.
Yeah.
But you still see it, and you're like, holy shit. Holy shit.
Eat it right up.
Yeah.
And I remember, not saying the movie was predictable, but there was a moment I was watching it with my girlfriend, and I was like. They were like scrolling through the files and the Death Star or whatever. He's like blah blah reading the code names, and I turned on. I was like, "It's gonna be Stardust."
Oh, you know it.
I knew it.
I knew it too.
And I was like, literally, I turned her and I was like, "Stardust," and she was like,
"It's Stardust."
Stardust. And I was like, I wrote this movie.
Yeah. I turned to Jose and I was like, I just got sad. I just got like sad. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Which is also like just I guess like the last thing I want to bring up is I also like the idea that obviously one of the things that like every Star Wars like not defender but like person who always talks about the original trilogy and the story is always like, how come they put the thing in the Death Star? That's so dumb. How do they not know that?
Yeah.
And the fact that now this movie is kind of like we're just gonna clean that up right quick.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just gonna add this little detail in, and that's gonna be that.
Yeah.
And you're like,
and the whole
it in there,
and like not even like haha it was Galen Erso. Like they even like made it so far to the point that like Krennic tried to like redeem himself by stopping it because they knew that it was there.
They had to know.
Like halfway through the movie, like they knew that the rebellion or Galen had put a flaw in this in the thing, but instead of trying to find the flaw and fix it, what they did was they let Krennic try and stop the rebels from getting the plans in the first place instead of trying to fix the flaw. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, so like that coupled with the fact of Galen like being a rebel sympathizer and all this other shit,
Right.
like it was more than just like an afterthought. Like it was like the entire movie felt like this is why this happened, you know. And like it was one of those things where like we didn't need this, but I'm happy it's there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then it kind of gave Jin's not purpose, but like her importance in the story a little bit more prevalence.
Yeah,
because then it was the whole thing. It's like I built it not because I wanted to, but because I knew they were gonna do it without me anyway. But by me doing so, I made them basically like I put it like I shot them in the foot.
Yeah,
basically.
Like they shot themselves in the foot.
Right.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, the movie. Obviously, I cried like a bitch.
Yeah.
Several times.
I welled up a lot, but the one time I actually cried was when Galen dies. His final line was like, "I have so much to tell you," and then he just dies.
God.
And I was like, "Oh no, I'm out. I'm out. Bye."
I'm already like a big. I mean, kind of everybody is, but like I'm already like a big like softie for like any story that involves like a really like important dynamic between like parent and child.
Especially like a regretful or remorseful.
Yeah, like a regretful, remorseful one. Like I'm already like that already makes it personal to me.
Yeah, me too.
So once that happens, you like it's like you're already. That's why Interstellar fucked me up.
I haven't seen Interstellar.
You are gonna weep like a child.
Yeah, probably. Like that's gonna be the next movie podcast.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. Like I still can't watch the movie again.
Really?
I literally could not. Like there's like this one scene. I'm not gonna go into it just because I want you to see it and experience it. There's this one scene where like I was like ugly face crying.
Really?
Like ugly, like like I was bad. It was really bad.
Yeah.
Because it felt personal to me.
Yeah.
And so the Jin story was also like that for me a little bit.
I don't think I've ever ugly face cried during a movie. I've ugly face cried for like shit happening.
Yeah, moments in life.
Like Carrie Fisher dying.
And on that low note, I watch obviously Rogue One if you have or haven't seen it.
Yeah. Watch it again if you have seen it.
Watch it again, obviously, because it's probably only going to get better. With more,
I mean that's
viewings.
how Star Wars is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's better the 700th time.
But I guess we're just gonna wrap it up here.
Yeah.
Follow the channel if this goes up on the channel. Sub,
it's gonna go. It's gonna go up multiple places probably.
I'm also gonna find it in other places. Follow us on Twitter.
Yeah. At what is it? At Doin Gaming.
At Doin Gaming.
We'll put it up on the screen.
And shit like that. So I like we only like doing these things because we like talking about these things. Discussion is fun.
We like hearing ourselves talk
a lot. A lot. So yeah, if you like it, let us know, and we are hopefully gonna make more. And if you don't want to hear more, we're still gonna make more.
Yeah, so fuck it
and deal with it.
Yeah, suck my asshole
from the back.
Ooh,
suck my dick from the back.
Suck my dick from the back.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. All right, bye.
Bye.